Why don't we call the meeting to order as soon as Deborah's ready? Please call the roll.
Certainly, Vice Mayor.
Here.
Councilmember Albritton. Councilmember Jablonski.
Here.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
But after, do we need to do a motion to excuse the two? Okay, thank you.
Well, we
I
need to,
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion to excuse our mayor and Councilman Albritton.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Deborah, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Albritton. Councilmember Jablonski.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. All right. So first, folks, we are having a Board of Directors meeting for the Southwest Ranches Volunteer Fire Department. We are the Board of Directors. The council is the Board of Directors for that. We have an agenda. I'll just go through it quickly. Do we have any reports from the committees? Looks like no. Do we have any reports from the officers? Looks like no. We have new business this evening. We are sitting this evening to appoint a new assistant fire chief. Pardon me a second, I'm just going through the paperwork that's here.
Vice Mayor, would you like me to just kind of get
Please,
some background?
Russell,
Sure.
you want to give us some context?
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for that. So we were informed by the current Deputy Fire Chief, William Updegraft, that he intends to immediately retire. He informed the chief of that. Tonight before you is a suggested appointment to replace Deputy Chief Updegraft, and the gentleman to be considered tonight is Kyle Bennett. We have provided his resume for you to consider, and the council has the full authority to make that appointment.
Fantastic, thank you, Russell.
You're welcome.
Fellow council members, do you want to, well, Kyle, why don't you get up and introduce yourself first, along with the chief. Well, Chief, maybe you can introduce Kyle.
Okay, Kyle was raised in Southwest Ranches, and he's also a current homeowner. He also is 21 years in the fire service and an officer for, and he's gone through the ranks and is currently a captain. He comes with a lot of experience from the street and administrative side. He's got associates in emergency medical services degree, has associate fire science degree in technology, and has a bachelor of fire science and administration. And he got a ton of certifications, but I won't, bore you with all that. But I think he'll be a good,
Albritton.
Okay.
That's by Steve.
Good afternoon,
Mayor.
Councilmember. Stand by, please.
It's Jim calling in. All right,
Yeah, I believe it'll be a good asset for our fire department.
excellent.
Looking forward to him coming on.
Do you want to spend a minute and just explain the circumstances of why we're doing this and not at a normal, normal meeting, a normal fire department meeting?
I'm sorry, what was
We
that?
we had one of the chiefs just resign for
Yes.
health reasons. You want
Yeah,
to just spend a minute?
one of the fire chiefs, he's retired from BSO also, and it just came to time that he said that he's done. He's been in it quite a few, probably 38 years now, so
Wow.
I think he had enough. Although I've been in there 48 years.
Wow, and you haven't had enough yet?
Yeah, I haven't had enough yet. As long as I'm standing, I'll be here. But yeah, so it was good, at the time he served. But as you know, we've been through a few assistant chiefs, but they're all retired, so they end up moving places, and that's the end of them. Because they're
Yeah.
all retired.
Yeah,
They're all in Tennessee and Georgia.
yeah. So, folks, we don't want to leave an assistant chief position open, so hence we're here tonight to appoint Kyle. Do you have any questions for Kyle? Anybody?
I don't. I already asked mine personally of him.
Okay, great. Do the public have any questions for our new, soon-to-be our new assistant chief? We have to vote on it first. Well, you got off easy.
Really?
All right.
I'll take it.
We need a motion, Mayor.
I think we need a motion. And
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we hire Kyle.
I second.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm done.
All right. Deborah, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman,
Yes.
motion passed.
Congratulations, Assistant Chief.
Thank you, sir. I look forward to working with everyone here.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Yep.
All right. So we'll go right into the council meeting, and if you've been here to one of the meetings where we have two things going on, we repeat the Pledge of Allegiance and open the new meeting. So Deborah, sorry?
Let's get Councilmember Albritton on the phone.
Ah, okay.
You got Councilmember Albritton.
Is he hearing it now?
All right.
You got to boost the volume on something.
All right.
I can hear you.
Great. We can hear you, and I think the public can hear you as well now, Jim.
Vice,
All right. Deborah, let's call the meeting to order. Deborah, if you would call the roll.
Mayor Bright Cruz, Vice Mayor Hartman,
Here.
Councilmember Albritton,
Present.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Here.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Here.
Motion passed.
All right.
mean-
Please stand for the
We
pledge.
have a quorum.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we excuse Mayor Bright Cruz.
Second.
All right. Deborah, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Albritton,
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski. Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, good evening, folks. We're going to start this evening off with some presentations. We have a legislative update, and are the three of you coming up together, or are you doing them individually, or? Okay. All right. So please welcome Senator Dr. Barbara Sharif, Representative Robin Bartleman, and our lobbyist Nelson Diaz from Southern Strategy, or Southern Group, right?
Good evening. Did we lose
I don't know what that was.
Councilmember
I have no idea
Albritton?
what that
Okay.
Yeah.
So good evening. Tonight, it is truly an honor to be here with great news. You know, we've had a pretty rocky session, and things don't always come out the way that we want them to, but for Southwest Ranches this year, we had two really big wins. So the first, I'm so happy to be standing here with State Representative Bartleman and also Nelson Diaz. And I can only tell you that for the 105 days of session, we actually worked 105 days, you know. There was no stopping. So based on the hard work and advocacy of the state reps as well as your state senator, we were pleased to bring home the first check for the Dykes Road turn lanes projects And this will help have a vital improvement on traffic flow. Yeah. And Vanna has $405,990 here.
Vanna, why don't you spin around so everybody can see the giant check? Why don't you show it to the audience as well?
Okay, turn Vanna.
Yeah, we'll do that right after the presentation. We'll get some pictures. Now, it's from the state of Florida, so it's good, right?
It's good for now. Cash it quickly.
Don't worry, it's got my signature on it. No
Oh, okay.
balances. All right, and then the second check that we are going to present tonight. Yes, the chief needs to be in this picture. So this check is going to support the construction of a new fire station, which is an essential facility for Southwest Ranches.
That's huge, folks. That's our startup money right there.
It is, and it is for a whopping $900,000.
Thank you.
Now, this is just a continuation, right? Because I recall doing this when I was on the county commission to make sure that you all had your fire stations and your police station. So I'm really excited about this. This was huge for us to bring home. Like I said, it was a lot of hard work. They didn't happen by chance. I know we spent lots of weekends up there in Tallahassee. And so just want to say thank you to Mayor Bright Cruz. Thank you to the leadership here, all of you. Vice Mayor Hartman and council members for your dedication, for actually really being such great advocates at the state level for your town. And with that, we do have a legislative update. I'm going to say, Robin, do you want to? Well, I'm going to run through really quickly on some of the great bills that things that I think are of interest, that are going to be of interest to the town. We had a couple the local government land regulation bill that was SB 1080, which I think was of interest to everybody because it imposed certain restrictions on development and deadlines for counties as well as municipalities for processing development applications. And it has strict refund penalties if you miss the deadlines. And so I think that's one that would be of interest to you. The amendments, well, that's going to be more political. The amendments to the Constitution in terms of petition collecting. I know that you have lots of advocates out there in the audience, so I would just say to them, make sure that you're looking out for HB 1205 and making sure that you're following the rules there. We had some great bills that passed that were more initiatives for like healthcare, newborn screenings, children with developmental disabilities, some actions for recovery of damages for wrongful death, advertisements for representation of services, notary fraud. We've seen a lot of that with immigration, and then boating safety, as well as some mental health bills that strengthen mental health accessibility, because we've had issues with that in our community. And then service for individuals with developmental disabilities, because we know that they need different types of care and services, and so we had to address that. And I know that you have a few that you want to address, so I'm going to turn the mic over to my trusty friend here, Representative Robin Bartleman.
Thank you. So Senator Sharif and I make a great team, but this team would not be complete without Nelson Diaz. From day one, Nelson has been amazing. We were in Chair Vicky Lopez's office in the House. It's very competitive in the House with projects. And she told us right away, oh, yeah, I spoke to Nelson, I spoke to you, we're good. We knew you needed the firehouse. We sent the pictures of what you've been using now, which is so makeshift in storms. So I just want to say Nelson has been amazing to work with. He's always available 7 a.m. in the morning for a text, a wake-up call. And I also want to talk a little bit about your town. This is my first session with Russell, correct? This is our first. So there were a lot of bills that took away your local control. And I'm on all those committees and the Ways and Means. So Russell was a phone call away to go over information with me to let me know how things were going to impact your town. He is always available. So I just want this town council to know how great the people are that work for them, seriously, and I want to give them a hand because we can't do this without them. Very quickly, I passed 3 bills this session. So I'm up to 15 now. So
Wow.
I'm doing well. So here we go. 1 bill, of course, for my fire chiefs, because now I love the fire chief since the blue light bill. It had to do with aligning federal and state law in terms of administering narcotics on the ambulances. So that one passed through early on in session. A bill I've been working on for 2 years with Senator Catalud has to do with students with autism. It was because of a young man named Logan who got expelled from 6 different preschools because of his autism. And what you don't know is when you're in an early learning coalition preschool, you get a weighted FTE and more money for taking that child. But these children are just kicked out because they can't meet their needs. As a matter of fact, the expulsion rate for pre-K is 3 times that of K through 12 combined.
Wow.
So it's very hard for these children and these parents when they have to work. So this bill actually requires teacher training, which is a huge step because teachers need to be equipped with the skills to deal with these students and know what to do. So when there are behavior issues, they can address them appropriately, and it's a win-win for everybody. And the 3rd bill had to do with the Officer Lahara, who is in the center part of the state. I ran this bill for with Justin Sapp, who's also in the northern part of the state, for the Fraternal Order of Police. Officer Lahara was struck while he was directing traffic at a graduation. He had what's termed a catastrophic injury. When someone has a catastrophic injury and you're law enforcement, you're guaranteed medical insurance and your family's guaranteed medical insurance. Except it's for when you're like in the line of duty, like getting shot at or those situations, which really that's not the intent of the law. The intent of the law is if you had a catastrophic brain injury because you're directing traffic or you're out here on Dykes Road directing traffic, why would you be excluded? So this law now makes sure that all law enforcement officers, if they are hurt in a training exercise, and for firefighters as well, 2 bills went through, firefighters and police, if they're training and have a catastrophic injury, any line of duty activity that we're going to take care of that law enforcement officer and we're going to take care of their family. So we're very happy to do that. So that was a very big bill.
Huge.
I think Senator Sharif covered most of the bills. I was going to cover Lucy's Law because I know Russell's an avid boater. So, and he is very safe, but I know that a lot of people are not. So basically, you can get now, like a DUI, you can get that on the water. There's education components and restrictions. So for all the boaters out there in Southwest Ranches, I drive by, I see all your boats when I'm garage sailing. Make sure you pay attention to Lucy's Law. Also, there's a new law regarding speed limits that you need to be cognizant of, because now it is no longer a civil penalty if you're going 100 miles over. If you're at 100 miles or 50 miles over, you actually can go to jail. So I'm trying to let everybody know it's a good thing, unless you're on unless you're on the turnpike trying to pass a truck and you just go a little bit. You don't think you're going to go to jail, just be cognizant of that. So I'm letting everyone know. Now, the most important thing you have to be aware of is what's coming up this legislative session, which is property tax reform. You do not have a lot of businesses in your community, so you rely very heavily on your ad valorem taxes to maintain this town and to maintain your services. About 67% is the average of a town or a municipality budget that actually goes to safety and law enforcement. So 67%, Russell, I'm sure you got the numbers. You turned yours in. What is yours at? What's yours?
By contract. Emil, it's about 40, what was the number? Closer to 50%.
So like 50% of the taxes you take in are going to law enforcement, fire, then you have garbage and all of your other services. So there's a movement to get rid of property taxes. And that is going to be a problem because if you do not have the funds to replace the property taxes, all of those services will go away. So because I am on Ways and Means, I got to participate in a lot of the discussions. I was acknowledged by the League of Cities with the Legislative Appreciation Award for protecting your home rule in that Ways and Means committee. But this year has got to be the year of educating the public. Because if that shows up on the ballot and everyone goes, I'm going to get a property tax rebate, I'm not going to have to pay property taxes, and then they wake up and you can't pay your fire department and you can't pay your police department, you don't have your garbage picked up, it's going to be a huge problem. So the speaker on his own created a special committee with 5 different ideas because he also understands that you can't just eliminate property taxes, like an additional homestead exemption, a homestead exemption up to $1 million. So they're going to be exploring that all session. They're going to be meeting over the summer. Senator Sharif and I will be coming here to give you updates because we have to be on top of this, because if it does end up on the ballot, it will be on the 2026 ballot. And so we have to make sure we tell everyone what this means to them. And so I'm going to keep it short now. I also want to thank your Zero Waste Committee under the leadership of Debbie Green, because she is amazing. Okay. And, oh, wait, she wants to go back on the property tax a minute. Go ahead.
So I wanted to make sure that you were aware that the alternative that has been proposed is a 12 to 15% increase on sales tax.
Sales tax.
That will be divvied up by the state. Yeah. So instead of you having a property tax, you would have a sales tax of 12 to 15%, which will then be given to the state. The state will get divided up, and they have implemented a new department under the CFO, Doge, to make sure that you are spending your dollars that you're getting right now appropriately. And so you'll be, I'm sure they said Broward was first on the audit list.
Yeah, they are.
And so I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that this is not like they're just going to, they would just eliminate it, and the money has to come from somewhere. So
Correct.
that's that. So.
All right. Thank you for bringing that up. So my speaker, Perez, who I think is doing a great job, he has a list of 5 alternatives. It's going to be the Senate president and the speaker kind of battling that out. But Perez knows how important it is that we maintain our municipalities, that you maintain your autonomy. And honestly, you can't really trust how they're going to divvy that out. If you look how they divvy out school system money, all the money from this county goes to the state, is redistributed, and in most cases, we're a donor county. Yep. And there's a district cost differential, there's sparsity for all the smaller districts. They're also looking at combining some of the smaller counties up north. So there's a lot going on. And there are a lot of moving parts. So we're going to just keep sending you the legislative updates to make sure that you let everyone know. But I want to go back to the incinerator. They passed a motion in Miramar that they're not going to be building the incinerator at the airport west site, which we're very excited about. I'm not going to steal Debbie's thunder, but your Zero Waste Committee has had a tremendous impact in shaping the future of waste in Broward County, and it's because of their leadership that we're going to have positive results. And I just want to thank her. Yes, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up, chicken.
It's all right.
She's so, okay, and a whole bunch of people, but who was the chair? Right there. Right there. There's someone who goes to every meeting, and we know it's, okay, it's you, Debbie, don't worry. But thank you all so much, and I've kept it short, and I'm going to let Debbie come up and give you her news. Whatever you need, we are here, and just thank you guys so much. It's an honor to serve you guys. And Nelson, you want to come give a report? This man
I don't have much to
is
say
awesome.
after that report, Senator's report, but I do want to introduce you to Olivia Vera, who joined our firm a couple of years ago and has been working really hard for Southwest Ranches as well. And I do want to say thank you for trusting us. We've represented the town for, I want to say 12 years now or so, or 13 years or so. And, you know, I sent the manager a little report card on ourselves and over the last, because I do believe in accountability. And that's why I think and I hope that every elected official up here, come election time, works exceedingly hard to make sure these 2 come back to Tallahassee. And I am begging you to send them back to Tallahassee, because I will tell you, by the way, she's not kidding about the 7 a.m. text and the 11 p.m. text. She's not. But it is welcome. But we need to get them both back to Tallahassee. But I welcome any questions or thoughts. The next legislative session starts in January. in even numbered years, the session starts a little bit early. So, Mr. Manager, we're looking to get projects from you maybe by October-ish.
Right.
So we can review them, fix them up, do what we need to do, and then send them over to your elected officials for their input. So, and then we'll submit them probably by December or so. And then January, we're off to the races.
Excellent.
So,
Nelson, if you have anything to say about them taking out the municipal ad valorem taxes, we're willing to trade. We want to toll Flamingo Road, Griffin Road, 75, 27, and then I think we can make up the difference. I got friends in tolling, so
there you go.
maybe that's an option.
I'm sure Pines and some of the other cities will be all in favor.
Mr.
Anyway,
Diaz.
Yes, sir.
When we met back in 2023, you were representing Pearl Holding.
Yes, sir.
And during that time, you had pushed for the ending of 627.428, attorney's fees on first-party cases.
Yes.
All right. Now, I'll agree with you that there are good and bad actors in every industry, correct? Even your industry, well, public officials, everybody, there's good and bad actors in everything, right?
Certainly.
So I have clients that are medical providers that I used to be able to produce bills on them. The consequences of that bill being ended is putting pressure on my clients that are chiropractors, MRI providers, and MDs that are not getting paid because these insurers are doing IMEs, cutting off the benefits. And if I have an MRI company that wants to go after trying to get paid for their service, and their bill is like $1,000, they can't afford to hire me or any other lawyer to go after that. So I'm just want you to be aware of the consequences of what you pushed for has caused a lot of turmoil with chiropractors, MRI providers, and MDs that treat motor vehicle accident victims. So I just want to let you know that there are people that have been harmed from that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Vice Mayor, I just wanted to say that if you have not seen, I sent something late this afternoon, essentially a report card that Mr. Diaz referenced that just speaks to their assistance in us acquiring, several $1 million in funding, and since we've been contracted with the Southern Strategy Group. So I would encourage you guys to look at that report when you get a chance. It's available. If anybody from the public would like a copy of it, we can provide it as well. But since 2014, they've been involved in advocating on our behalf, and the town has benefited to the tune of more than $6 million in state funding. So I think that's something to be celebrated. So.
Yeah. A budget season doesn't go past where I don't get a phone call saying, why do we have lobbyists? And the answer is always the same. They bring home the bacon for us. We get projects done through the state dollars that we wouldn't get otherwise. So I want to thank you.
We
and-
assist. They
Thank you.
bring home the bacon.
Well,
They really do.
you guys are partners. I mean, we get
We work as
that.
a partnership, and
Yeah.
a pretty good partnership, I think.
Yeah.
And a friendship, and we work really well
Yep,
together.
yep,
But thank you
yep.
for your success.
It's an
on
excellent
this.
team,
Thank you. Thank you
absolutely.
for your success on this.
So, and of course, you ladies know how we feel about you.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Yes. Yeah, let's do a picture real quick. We'll make the pictures available. I'm going to be in the back row, so we'd like to hold big checks.
You gotta split the checks up.
We good? You need to deposit that. Thank you for the reminder, Deborah.
We want to introduce our new aide.
So you know, a team is not a team without great staff people behind you. And this is George Colasso, and he's our new district legislative aide. So welcome, George.
And I have two amazing aides. I have Darian, who is actually grew up here in both of them grew up in the district. Both recently graduated from college. So Alyssa and Darian. Alyssa's going to Tallahassee with me. Darian's going to be my district aide, so you're going to see her all around town. Se habla español perfecto, es colombiana. So for everyone calling, so I love my team. They're great. So if you need anything, you'll see them around. And you'll see all of our aides when we go to Tallahassee. Hopefully we're not there for 105 days, but they will hold down the forts for us. Thank you, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Good seeing you, Robin.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out, folks. All righty, moving right along. It is time for public comment. Do we have any, did anybody submit a card for, 2 cards for public comment?
We do. We have 2. The first one up is Marianne Allen.
All right, welcome, Marianne.
It's going to take 3 minutes to walk to the podium. At this rate. Thank you.
Marianne Allen, 12701 Mustang Trail. I'm going to talk about the ag community, which is the heart and soul of our town. And our motto has always been preserve, protect, promote our agriculture. And I just wanted to do some history because those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And having been here since 1980 in the area and finally buying a property here and having horses, I well know the challenges that we've gone through in all these years to retain our agricultural community and our farms. And part of the history was some of the property appraisers have been great. When I moved here, we had Markham, and he wouldn't give you agriculture. It didn't matter how qualified you were. There were lies said to people. People spent thousands, and they never got their ag. It wasn't until Lori got in that we started to get ag, and Marty's been a good friend of ours. But over the years, things change depending on their staff that doesn't get monitored sometimes. And it came to our attention a year and a half ago that our farms were being persecuted. A lot of people were being discouraged and left our area. Can any of you tell me how many farms did we lose in the last 5 years? Do we know how many applications were made in the last 5 years? How many were denied? So we have at least left now, we have about 555 farms left. There were 38 new applications last year, but they also got a bunch of denials. So knowing that, I know that our town stepped up to the plate. Steve, Russell, we met with Marty. Marty didn't realize the problems that were going on, and we got them straightened out for now. But there's no guarantee with different changes of administration, people, staff, even in the town council here. Things have changed for the better since a lot of you got in. I remember in the past, we had a lot of problems with retaining our ag, threats of commercial coming into our area that we didn't want. And all it takes is a 5-0 vote to change our zoning. People have to vet the people that want to represent us. You're representing us. You are the voice of the people that elected you. And we want to make sure that you adequately represent our vote. Now, prior to this council, we had a fire tax come up on the barn from our own town. Sometimes your greatest threat is sometimes the people in your own town. Not now, but it was. And you saw the pitchforks come out when that fire tax on the barn. David, you were one of our biggest defenders, okay? I want to thank you and the council for that. Thank you so much for putting that proposal down, okay? That saved a lot of farms because a lot of people were ready to leave.
Marianne, you're out of time, but if you need another
Already?
minute or so already, I know.
Well, there's only two people, and I'm one of the
We'll give you a-
original founders.
we'll-
Could you give me the courtesy of just a couple of minutes?
Yeah, I'll give you the courtesy.
You're the
of
best.
Just a couple of minutes.
Okay, all right. I'm not going to be so long-winded.
All
All
right.
right. So over the years, we've seen a lot of great things happen in this town. One of the best one was when we changed the first sentence of our charter. Thank you, David, for recommending me to the Charter Review Committee. That first sentence was preserving our rural and residential area. So we changed that. We said preserving, protecting, and promoting our rural, our agricultural, our equine, and our residential. So now it is in our charter. It's part of our Constitution. Thank you for that guarantee. The other thing was, last year, you guys made the proclamation to save our farms, which is huge. Instead of talking the talk, you are walking the walk. And I want to recommend every one of you, Russell, for taking, you have 2 horses too, Russell, don't you? So a lot of our people here have animals. They have chickens, they have horses, and they represent us really, really well. Now, we also decided last year for the first time to really protect, preserve, and promote our agricultural by hiring an agricultural liaison. And Russell, you said it's so much work, we could even use 2 people in that position eventually. Hopefully, we will prove the fact that we need this position, okay? It'll prove itself. So I would really like you to support the position. I really would like to see it as an employee and not a contractual, because that is discouraging a lot of people from wanting the position. So it's a part-time position, it doesn't cost a lot of money, but the benefits to our agricultural community, the help that this position will give, will help solidify and protect and promote our ag, okay? Thank you so much for being helping us. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Lazaro Padron.
Good evening. Number one, I would like to start, thank you. You guys are doing an excellent job. I've been in a lot of...
Could you give us your name and address, please, for the record?
My Lazaro Padron. I live in 5441 Southwest 160 Avenue. And tonight I have a picture. When I bought the house, the old owners, they give me this picture. And I always save this picture and say, the house used to be owned by J.D. Johnson and his son. So I'm here tonight to present what I lived. I live right here, and this house, from my house, the master bedroom is right here. From here is only 60 feet. Divider is only 30 feet away. This person passed away in 2004. This person passed away in 2005. The house, both families sold the house. So I live right here. I worked very hard to buy this house. I'm a retired bartender, so I worked 18 years in a convention center, Diploma Hotel, and I did all the mayor's functions. You know, I take care of all the VIP all the time. So I worked very hard to obtain this house. This person bought the house when the previous owner were here and no fence around. So in this area over here, got pools, trees, and everything. And my master bedroom is right here. I've been dealing with the city for quite a time about the roosters. I understand this town love the animals. I love animals. I have animals on and love animals like Davey. He walked the animals every day. The dog, me too. But the thing is that these roosters were here intentionally. As soon as I bought the house, the first day I bought the house, this person told me that he was going to buy the house. So his dream was to have the whole entire place. He was able to buy another 5 acres on the other side. So for him, me was an obstacle. So we have a lot of argument with this person over here, a lot of police report, and please report everything to Julio according to the state law. There's a law about the noise and disturbance. Every day, starting at 3:40, 3:30, 4, 5 o'clock, I have to wake up because he got 5 or 6 roosters right there by my window. And I talked to Julio. Julio proceed to do this based in the state law. There's a law that can get help from this. And Mr. Muñiz, I was told by Julio that Mr. Muñiz has stopped him to act that tonight I'm here because I need help. This is not safe. I'm a truck driver, I'm a bartender, I work in a hotel business, and the pandemic changed my life. Right now, I'm back to the hotel business. My wife, she's a nurse, and I'm here claiming for our safety, because we're not sleeping our time they're supposed to have. Especially at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, we have to wake up. Sometimes I have to go to the living room or another room, because these roosters are here bothering us. And I understand it's a town for animals, but the state law, I was reading a lot about this state law. Julio, I sent all the videos, waking up at 5, waking up at 6, all the videos about this.
Could wrap it up.
Okay, anyway, I would like to see what the town of Sour Ranches can do for us, because we're not safe driving. I'm tired. My wife, sometimes she has to sleep in the couch because there's no way that we can rest. And I'm demanding, please, an answer for this. Thank you.
Okay.
No more speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any board reports this evening?
Debbie Green, 5201 Southwest 199th Avenue, and
Can't
I'm
hear
here.
you.
Huh? Oh.
Can't hear you.
I'm here to give a report for the. No,
Louder.
So,
Zero waste.
what are we? The Zero Waste Broward Task Force. Yeah, I want to share with all of you. The Broward Solid Waste Authority had their public outreach meetings in June. I will tell you that I want to thank everybody on this council and everyone from staff that attended a bunch of those meetings. It was kind of disappointing and discouraging, and just how few people from the county attended these meetings. And it's frustrating trying to figure out what is the right way to communicate to reach the masses and to get them to act and understand there's a need to act. Then I went to the Broward Solid Waste Authority's Executive Committee last Friday, and I actually was very pleasantly pleased. One of the agenda items on there was direction for waste to energy in the master plan. So when that item came up, the co-chair, Mayor Ryan, he brought up that there's been a lot of, he kept hearing about the at this time. Because in that draft master plan, the way that it's written in the scenario A that the consultants are proposing, it says that the current RRF, I think those, of Broward County, which is the current waste to energy that's going on off of Davie and Broward, that was sufficient and there was no new waste to energy contemplated at this time. Well, the at this time was a problem because it left the door open for in the future they could put it. So we kept bringing to their attention at these public meetings, put the link out there for people just to put their feedback back to the authority, that went right to the authority. It was simple, it was easy. So when Mike Ryan started his comments, let me just back up really quick. Both Mike Ryan, the co-chair, and Beam Fur, the county, who's the co-chair of that executive committee, both said during this meeting, when this authority started, they came in here, there was that preconceived thought that the only way Broward County had out of its solid waste problem was to build a state-of-the-art waste-to-energy facility. Now, they are 100 degrees. They've moved. So when they started this executive committee, that's where they were. And now where they are, they've moved. So where they were even at the point where now they're looking at the consultants, there's still like 2 tasks they haven't completed. Those 2 tasks had to do with new waste to energy facility. What was going to be the cost? What would it be to maintain that? Well, they can't do those tasks because they're not included in the scenario A's master plan. So there's nothing for them to do. So they kind of addressed that they need to take that off the table from the consultants because there's nothing for them to report on. That's where it's come to. But then he brought up the fact, this fear of those words, not at this time, and what it opens up. and how we need to clarify that, because that's something else that was brought to their attention, is if we clarify that and just take it off the table and say no new waste to energy, period, or no new waste to energy site, period, you will most likely gain the support of Pembroke Pines, continue the support of Miramar. So that Mike Ryan, he brought that conversation up. And so there were several conversations around the table. I mean, we all need to applaud the Mayor Bright Cruz for his leadership on that executive committee, his role on that executive committee. He also did, because one of the things that Mike Ryan said is that that authority has never mentioned a new waste to energy out west. And to his credit, he is absolutely correct. That authority has never mentioned it. But it was said to us by some of our current and past state senators that the only place for one to be put, and that was the only answer at the time, was out west. So Steve, during his part of the discussion, he did say that he actually attended some of those meetings and heard that. So the whole executive committee knows we didn't pull that out of the air. So a motion was made to direct the consultants to change the language in the master plan so that it reads that there's no, that the RF, the current language, that current RF site is sufficient and no new waste to energy is contemplated at this time. However, if there is a need in the future, it can only be at a existing waste to energy site.
One place.
So the only place, so we just need to be vigilant and keep our eyes. But let me tell you, I walked away from there like, you know what? We really did. We made a difference. At some point, they heard us. So now I'm waiting for the minutes, because we got to make sure those minutes are correct and that motion is correct, and but the meeting's recorded, so we have the words. So I just want to thank everybody, everybody who went out to those meetings, everybody that gave their feedback to the Solid Waste Authority through their website, sent the emails. Although it was discouraging at times, we made a difference, and I think it was heard. So I just want to thank everyone.
Good job, Debbie.
Yeah, I'll just add a quick comment to Debbie's about our mayor's capability to persuade. I have been, having discussions with Steve for 25 years or more. His persuasive abilities over the last couple of years have gotten to be excellent. I don't know a better way to put it. And when you hear him at the meetings, or at even the public meetings, when he's talking to the people that Debbie had mentioned, the two co-chairs, he's extremely persuasive. And there's another piece to it as well. All of these meetings, can I get an extra minute? At all of these meetings, we had at least 6 or 8 residents show up as well, all pounding the same message. It's not we don't want it in our backyard. We don't want waste to energy plants. We don't want incinerators. If you don't live near it, somebody lives near it. And, oh, by the way, smoke coming from here goes all the way to the Mississippi Valley. So it's not like you can just get rid of the smoke and there's no problem. It doesn't work that way. So this has been a long battle. The town has shown a leadership, has been in the forefront of leadership on this the whole time. We've built ourselves a little reputation, not only in Broward County, but across the state now, as the folks that really want to implement zero waste. And we're putting our money where our mouth is. If you read the town newsletter, we've been talking about composting programs. Our recycling numbers are going up. So our residents are really behind this as well. It's not just the people that come to these meetings. We see it all the time. We have kids that come to the meetings that we have. So it isn't just guys like me with gray beards and people that I know. It's residents coming from our town, young people coming from our town. We have regular people that come from Weston, Pembroke Pines, Davie. It's really mushroomed into a countywide effort. And I think I'm not ready to declare that we've won, because that'll happen when it's all done. We'll have that party then. But so far so good. So Debbie, can't thank you enough for all the work, the time you've dedicated to this. I mean, it's fantastic, and it really shows your commitment to the community. So thank you. All right. Any other board reports?
I would like to make a comment.
Sure, George.
Thank you for affording me the opportunity here. Real quick, George Morris, and Astronaut Foundation, Southwest Ranches Park Foundation. Just want to announce a couple of things coming up here. First and foremost, we have bingo at the barn coming up on Saturday, September the 27th. It's going to be dinner between 6 and 7 and bingo between 7 and 9. Again, September 27th. Tickets are $30 in advance or $35 at the door. We're going to have door prizes. We're going to have lots of fun and games. This has been an annual thing. We did actually do a couple of times a year. This is probably the second time, at least this year. And all the proceeds go to our foundation. In addition to the bingo, we're also going to do a pumpkin patch. This is all brand new. This is going to be at the Southwest Ranches Meadow Sanctuary Park on the corner of Griffin and Dykes. It's going to be October 16th through the 19th. We're going to have carnival rides, pumpkin carving, face painting. We'll put some more information as it develops. It's sort of a developing thing now. But there's going to be a website that's going to be set up. We're going to put it up on the town website as well. You can buy tickets. It's going to be fenced off. We're going to sell tickets. It's going to be, again, a very family-oriented thing. It's not going to be a loud nighttime thing. It's going to be geared towards family and children. So I'm looking forward to that for our first annual event. Hopefully it'll be, keep going on. And, again, all proceeds go to the Astronaut Southwest Ranches Park Foundation.
What was the date of that again, George?
It is October the 16th through the 19th. Coming soon. It'll be here before you know it. So as that develops, and we're developing it now, we're going to put out more information in the town newsletter, and we'll make other announcements and set up a website. So it's going to be a great thing. Also, we have the carnival coming up in January. Everybody knows about that. And another thing that the foundation is doing in an effort to raise money will be a food truck event. So we're going to start our food truck event. It's going to be the first Tuesday of every month. I believe the first one is September the 2nd, and every first Tuesday of the month thereafter. The information is posted in an upcoming newsletter. So that'll be a fun, exciting thing. Again, it won't go on the whole night. It'll be sort of in the evening and before it gets dark, probably 8:30.
What's the location?
It is at the Southwest Ranches Meadows, AKA Carnival site.
The preserve.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I think you all have seen the tree. I think what a wonderful event that we had for our 25th anniversary party, birthday party. That was, again, our foundation, our idea that we put together. Thank you for December for organizing that. And thank you for the town for funding that, as well as the Southwest Ranches Park Foundation. It's an incredible tree. If any of y'all haven't been out there in the public, go out there, take a look at it. It is incredible. On that note, thank you very much for your time.
You're talking about the sculpture now, right?
The sculpture, yes, the sculpture, the oak tree that was struck by lightning and sculpted by an artist.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
And now for the Zero Waste Advisory Board. So I just got to share that, like Vice Mayor has just said, Southwest Ranches is definitely known throughout the county as being the leader in the zero waste initiatives, because we don't want an incinerator, so we can't just say we don't want one, this is what we need to do. One of the things that the mayor brought to the last executive committee meeting is he recommended that on every agenda, each city should say what have they implemented over the last 30 days to kind of challenge each other. When we first heard that Coral Springs had some kind of composting thing, he was like, okay, well, if they can do some kind of thing, we can for sure do something here. And now I think it started this week. Town of Southwest Ranches implemented the residential composting. I think there's still space, so anybody that's would like to do that, please call the town hall. And it's just definitely been, with the different zero waste initiatives, the town has not just talked the talk, it's walked the walk. And so it's just, I just wanted to share that. So they are kind of challenging each other because we really need all the cities together to work towards, doing things in the same way and all work towards that so we can get to that angle.
Excellent. Thank you, Debbie. All right. I think we've covered board reports. All right. Council member comments. Who'd like to go first?
Yeah,
maybe?
I'll go.
Gary? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Did you want to go first?
No, of course not.
Okay. No, I'll be extremely brief. Since most of our guys are not here, so I'm not going to get into anything controversial. The bingo at the barn, that was mentioned on 27th. We also have the photo contest coming up. Oh, and by the way, thanks to everybody for being here. We do appreciate it when we have an audience. Some days there's only 2 or 3 people, so it's nice to see a few faces out there. The budget workshop is Tuesday, the 12th of August, and I think that's one of the most important ones, workshops that we have every year. We need you, it's feedback time from the residents. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. The budget's posted online, the tentative budget, let me rephrase that. And so we need your input. Then we have the adoption of the budget on in September on 2 dates, 9/11 and 9/25 are the 2 dates for that. We have the Halloween home decoration contest. You got to have your your home submitted by October 7th. The pumpkin patch, George has already mentioned. That's at the preserve, not the sanctuary, and that's under construction. And the food truck festival on the 2nd. Deborah, do you know if the DMV Flowmobile is going to be around or not around, or what's it? It'll be here next Wednesday?
They will be here the 30th, Wednesday the 30th, but we are full as of right now.
Oh, okay.
And we'll know more that day if they'll be here the following month.
When will they be here in August?
If they are here in August, it's going to be the 4th. Usually it's the 4th, the last Wednesday of every month, the 4th.
Okay,
Wednesday.
so that's, put a number on it.
That'll be the 27th.
27th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. So, and put a question mark by it and go from there. And that's all I have, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Gary. Sir?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, folks, for coming out tonight. David Kaczynski, District 4. I'm going to begin by thanking both Code and Legal. I posted some photos around Sunshine Ranches of what are called snipe signs, and what they are illegal signs that people post around the town. However, trying to think of a nice term to say. I can't really think of a nice term. Somebody decided that they were going to get up on a ladder and attach signs way up high on these telephone poles, and the method that they're using to attach these signs are very solid. And I mentioned this to Russell, who got Code involved, and the next avenue is the having legal department, and I did make that request to send a letter to cease and desist. I'm hoping that maybe we can take this a little further and get an injunction against them to stop from doing this stuff, because this really, really angers me to have to drive around and look at these ugly signs that are illegal in our area. Another issue as complaints has to do with speeding around Sunshine Ranches on the interior roads. I'm still seeing it, and it frustrates me. I had proposed and discussed during the Sunshine Ranches Homeowners Association meeting, and Rod had gave a presentation about using speed tables. Still pursuing that. Still looking for it, keep my ear open for feedback. I don't want to just arbitrarily start doing it without trying to get input from as many residents along the way that I can, but it is something that I'm working on. I haven't heard one person saying no. Saw Robin here tonight. If you guys remember, back in 2020, we asked Robin to pursue a measure for allowing Southwest ranches to be exempt from that fireworks law. Basically, folks, to give you a background on this, per state law, we have 3 dates that we can launch off fireworks in the town: December 31st, January 1st, July 4th. As somebody that's very concerned about our farm animals, our domestic animals, our honeybees, our birds, the fireworks are really, really detrimental to these our animals. And we have veterans with PTSD, also affects them as well. So I know that the mayor's not here and Jim's not here, so I'm not going to even bring it up, but it is something that I would like to see if we can have Robin pursue this again in the next session. Let's see. A lot of residents are aware that Brian Reynolds recently passed away, resident of East Palomino. Been here a long, long time. Brian was actually president of Sunshine Ranches HOA back in 1996. His spouse, Sherry Reynolds, actually attended the Rural Arts and Design Advisory Board and expressed an interest to be a member of that board. I think it'd be a great fit. We had Alina, who was on there. She had to resign because they sold their home and moved. I think it went to South or North Carolina, one of those 2 states. But nonetheless, Sherry Reynolds is interested in serving as a member of that board. I think it would be a great fit. She's retired and she's looking for things to do. So I'm going to make a motion that we can add Sherry Reynolds as an at-large member of the Rural Arts and Design Advisory Board.
Second.
All right. Discussion.
Discussion.
I love that idea. When she showed up for the first time, I didn't know who she was. She fit it in 5 minutes. She was completely enthusiastic about everything everybody was doing, and I think she'd be a great fit.
Concur.
Vice Mayor, Jim Albritton, I think she'd be a great fit also.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks,
All right.
Jim. Any other comments? Any public comment?
Any public comment, yeah.
Seeing none, Deborah, if you would call the roll.
Councilmember Jablonski,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski,
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman,
Absolutely.
motion passed.
Congratulations,
Fantastic.
Sherry.
Thank you.
Jim, since I do have you, you can you hear me, Jim?
Yes.
All right. I was thinking when we met her that night, she had mentioned she had extensive law enforcement background.
Right.
And maybe we can approach her to see if she'd be interested in being part of the Public Safety Committee.
I'm speaking to her about it. She's not made up her mind just yet, but I am speaking to her about it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. That was just, I just thought her law enforcement background would be great. Last, Mr. Padron, unfortunately, I am very pro-agricultural animals in our town. I could suggest, I did it on my home. I had hurricane impact windows put in, and mine are very, very quiet. I actually, shortly after I had them installed, the people were purchasing the home next door to me. They had a fence up, and some night, I don't even know what night it was, I can't remember, but some people drove through into their property, and the house was vacant at the time, but they stole all the ceiling fans, all the fixtures throughout the house. I slept through it, and usually I'm a light sleeper, but those windows, those hurricane impact windows, made my home very, very quiet. That may be an alternative, but I have to hold the back for the ag animals. I really have to have their back, unfortunately, in your situation. So that wraps up my comments.
All righty.
Thanks.
Jim, any comments?
Yes, Vice Mayor, I got one comment I'd like you to ask the residents. I'd like to have the veterans in town reach out to me if they would. I'd like to start a veterans group, if you could pass that on for me. it'll be in our newsletter coming up, but I'd just love to see something started with the veterans. If they just reach out, touch bases with me, if you pass that on, I appreciate it.
I hope everybody heard you. Can you all hear him? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
All right, couple comments. First off, for all who know Barbara Lester, she took a tumble this week, ended up in the hospital. She's recovering. She was in a lot of pain, but the update I got on her yesterday is that she's home now, resting comfortably. And if you know Barbara, I can't say how old she is, but I believe she's an octogenarian, and she probably outpaces most of us in terms of her energy. Yep. So, I mean, it's a terrible thing, but if anybody will make it through, Barbara will do the best. And she's got Lee and half the community to take care of her right now. The women of Rolling Oaks, you guys are helping too?
Yes.
Oh! Introduce yourself, Todd. Todd Flack, a relative. So anyway,
married to Flack.
Sorry?
Lee's her second husband.
Right.
Got it?
Yep. I know some of the history. I've known them forever.
Oh, okay, good.
But anyway, what happens in Rolling Oaks, and they spread the love around whenever somebody has a baby, has an injury, has some health issue. They call themselves the Women of Rolling Oaks. They band together, and I know there's a list been sent out for people to sign up to, to bring food by. My wife's on it. I believe Debbie's on it as well, and I'm sure you are too, Todd. So Linda will be bringing, and Linda and the family will be bringing food someday in the next couple of weeks. But that's just the way it works. Anyway, so our best wishes go out to Barbara, and obviously a speedy recovery. There's a town survey that if you're on any of the town's social media, if you're on any of the town's mailing lists, you're getting informed that we've got a survey going on. And to me, I've been watching the town surveys and participating for as long as they've been putting them out. We use that for strategic planning. Our town changes. We've been here over 30 years, and the town isn't like it was when we moved here. And everybody who's lived here more than 6 weeks knows that we are evolving. Now, we as the council have to respond to the community needs and the community interests, and it's changing. If you want to preserve our rural lifestyle, fill out the survey. If you want to maintain our equestrian community, fill out the survey. I mean, we won't turn around and say, "Whoa, nobody's saying we want equestrian. We're going to go against equestrian." That's not my point. But we take it as input. And as the community changes, I mean, we need to change and provide the services and obviously support the changes in the community as long as they keep us rural. However, the survey's out there. Russell, how much longer is it going to be active?
We're going to keep it through August.
Okay, through August. So there's a little bit of time. I think this one's the best I've seen of all of them, and that's not casting aspersions on the prior. But the way this one is laid out, it isn't punch here if you want equestrian, punch here if you want, agricultural, punch here if you want residential. Pick your top 3 most important aspects of our town in all these questions. It's not like a multiple choice questionnaire. And what I believe they will do is weight the answers based on the combination of responses people provide. So I can't reinforce it enough. If you love this community, give us your feedback, because we'll turn that into strategic planning over the next 5 to 10 years to figure out what we need to do. And no matter how many times people ask for sidewalks, I will vote against them. Anyway, thank you. Moving on. And this is really directed to the council. I don't know if you guys have been receiving notes from Richard Remchartar. He's written some thoughtful, a resolution and an ordinance that we may want to, and I'll get mine to Russell, because I'm not sure if you guys have seen them. But what it's all about is letting the county know, because for as much as we're talking about we're doing, the county still has the final decision on this. His recommendation is we do a resolution, we do an ordinance to block on our property and impacts to our community against anything to do with incineration. So I'll publish that out to Russell. If there's interest, Russell, I'd ask you to, poll everybody and see if there's interest. If there's no interest, we can let that go. But I think it's worthwhile looking into. He's put some time into it, and I've read both of them, and they make a lot of sense. All right. We've talked about all the committee, a number of committees tonight, and based on one of the things we have to do tonight, I'd like to propose a committee, a new committee. It's not a committee that would meet on a monthly basis like most of ours do, our advisory boards. I'm looking for feedback as well. Tonight when I came here, I was waiting for my wife to come up, and I was standing out under the flagpole, and I was looking at all the bricks out there. And I'm looking at all the names of people that I've known over the years. I mean, I'm looking, and a lot of these folks, they're founders too. They're people we've known, people that have come and gone. Some of them have, seems a lot of people from our town want to move to Ocala. I don't know why, but a number of the people that were on there, Kathy Sullivan's mother, where does she live? So my point is that I was also taken back by the people that have bricks out there that they put in on their own. It's like the leaves up on the wall. Those are contributions to the town that have passed, that are still living here, that were contributors. We also have residents in town right now that have made significant contributions. With all of the work and all the people and all the time that have been put into our scholarships for the Educational Advisory Board, when I think of where that started, I can't think of anybody but Kathy Sullivan. She's had tons of help over the years. She's had an amazing amount of residential support from the committee members there, as well as the kids that are, working towards the scholarships. So, I think of her. I can go down a list because, again, 30 years here, been involved since the start, before when we founded the town. I think of people all the time that deserve recognition. Now, at the last Arts Board, George came up with some ideas on recognizing people, and we discussed some, I guess, examples of ways, but I'd like to propose a recognition advisory board because, for example, annually we are asked for a nomination for the county's Pioneer Program. And I know Newell has been recognized. I know we probably have been asked to provide somebody for that for 25 years. And I can count about 7 people that have been recognized. We're leaving that opportunity on the table. There's other things we do on a regular basis that I believe we should recognize people. So what I'd like to do, and we can wait till maybe next month when Steve is back with us to vote on this, but I'm looking for feedback. I'd like to see an advisory board that meets on a quarterly basis, collaborates with the Arts Board, and any other boards that would be necessary, Parks Board as well, and come up with different things we can recognize people, and then also potentially propose to us people that we would recognize for whatever these different things are. I mean, every city has got these types of activities. You go into Davie, they've got walls, Pines has got them, Miramar's got them, where they're recognizing residents. Some have 9/11 walls for residents that were, impacted by 9/11 and lives taken. There's veterans walls throughout the county. So, we're mature now. We're 25 years old, or I don't know how mature I was at 25, but the town's getting there. I'd really like to see us start to recognize the residents we've lost, the residents who have contributed, and even, there's plenty of residents today that are worthy of recognition. So I don't know what you guys think.
I just have one question regarding that. And we set this up something similar with the Zero Waste Task Force, that if somebody serves on one of our 5 advisory boards, that they can also serve on that board.
I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Sure.
That's just a concern. I like the whole idea, but I just.
Yeah, we have a two-person.
Two board limit.
2 board limit with one exception.
Yeah.
that we've made since we started that, you know. My input, love the idea, but I think we can use an existing board for it. I like the idea, but I think we can use an existing board, like the rural
Any
arts.
recommendation?
Rural
Arts
arts.
Board?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think
Happy with it.
that board seems to be gaining and growing. And
It's
I-
changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're doing a great
And
job.
they're doing a really, really good job, not just because my wife's on it, but just
Rose is
in
doing a good
general.
job leadership.
In general.
Yeah, Rose is doing an excellent job leading
Right.
it, and Susan's.
Well, I
supporting her.
didn't want to mention Mrs. Albritton since she's listening on the speakerphone, but I'm sure she, but
Yeah.
in general, but I think the idea is great.
Yeah.
I just don't see the need to try to find 5 more people, you know?
Oh, I could name 5 for you if you need an
Oh,
appointment.
absolutely, but we do have restrictions on
Yeah.
a lot of those 5,
Yeah.
and I believe the Rural Arts Board can handle it.
Okay, that's.
Like we throw things at the comp
Sure.
board?
Yeah.
Similar
Okay.
situation.
Good. Well, I'd want this to be a regular practice because I think we have not.
Yeah, it's not a
I don't
one-off.
think we've done our community justice over the years for the, like I said, the people that have substantially contributed.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it is, I don't look at it as a one-off. Look at it as a
Regular part of their
continuous-
agenda?
As a continuous thing,
Okay,
you know, that
Good.
they would handle at every meeting. It would
Okay.
just be a permanent agenda item,
there you go. Good.
something to that effect.
It's actually a
Okay.
good idea.
That's my thinking.
It's a good idea.
It's
Yeah.
a good idea.
But
Good.
obviously, you want to wait till
I agree.
Steve gets back,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
We've got, you know.
But it's good input. Jim, do you have any feedback?
I'll go with whatever you like. You know, I'm a little partial to the person running it.
You go, you know, Jim, you ought to spend more time in the car in your meetings. You're very agreeable. All right, good. Thank you guys for the input. One or two other things, and I'll be very brief. I don't know if everybody realizes, but the other side of 27, from Griffin Road where it goes into the park, all the way down to, I guess, just past the FP&L station that's back off of US 27. That's a conservation area. What that means, that's not just anything. You know, it abuts the Everglades. There's a lot of critters that live in there, but it's protected. It's protected in our comprehensive plan, and it's, I believe, and I have to verify this further, it's also protected by state law. Now, there's something very interesting going on. Everybody remembers who lives way out west that about 10, 15 years ago, all of a sudden the Melaleuca trees all started dying. They sent a big crew in there that girdled all the Melaleuca trees, and they sprayed them with herbicide about 3 feet off the ground. And for those that didn't take, they were back about 6 months later, did it again, and then they had a final run through there probably a year after the first trip in. There's been, I take 27 to work going south every day now for about the last 3 months, and I all of a sudden saw these guys right by the county park sign, and I thought, what are they there for? I figured they were cleaning up around the sign. It looked like a landscape crew. But it wasn't, because the next day, the next opening into that stretch of land down there, the trucks were there again. And they were progressively moving south. And it was a bunch of guys that were in like hazmat suits. And I thought, they got my interest now. So one morning when they were all out by their trucks and I was going down to work, I pulled over. They're doing the same thing on the west side of 27 now. They are eliminating all of the invasives on that side. Now, it's not tons of Melaleuca trees, but we have forests of Baschoffias over there. We have forests of invasive trees. They're not going after the small stuff. That's not in their scope. But the west side is being cleaned up. Now, I don't know how far north. I didn't ask that question. Wouldn't it be nice if they went all the way up to I-75? But I know they're working south, so it's good stuff. That's being paid for by South Florida Water Management. It's their responsibility to maintain that because that's part of their purview. And I believe they own the land, about 2/3 or maybe even 3/4 of the land that's within the town on the west side. So if you see them working out there, you know what they're doing now, and wave and thank them, because you know something? That stuff gets into our yards. I cleaned out my yard a couple of years ago and got rid of the Malukas. I got rid of the Bischoffias. Now I have curly-eared acacias because a neighbor of mine seems to like to raise them, but that's just the way things are. One more quick thing. I lost the last of my chickens to coyotes. Yeah, it's painful. I mean, I raised all my birds from day-old chicks that I buy out of Iowa from a hatchery, and you know, you raise these things from itty-bitties, and you're collecting eggs, and they come when they see you, and you know how to buck just as well as they do after a while, and it hurts. So, of course, I need a new hobby concerning animals, and it happens that a large hive of bees moved into my boat about 2 months ago, and I didn't realize it until I climbed up on my boat and I was swatting I thought they were horseflies. I know what bees are, of course, but you know, they were all over me, and I just got right off the boat and realized and started looking it up. And I bought a hive, so I'm going to transfer them out of the boat. I got a beekeeping suit too. You watch these people on the University of YouTube, they don't wear suits. I don't have that kind of courage. So I bought a suit, I bought a hive, my daughter bought a suit, so she's getting into it. And I realized there's something else that needs tending to in our town. If you've ever gone over to the park that's the broader park where we have the farmers market, we call that part the sanctuary. Well, the preserve is the bigger part. There is a white house that was actually moved from, I believe, where Walmart is today. We moved that like 24 years ago because somebody had this idea that we would make that into a structure. It could be a museum, best laid plans. Well, it's full of bees. It has got. I was flying my drone over there about a year ago, and drones and bees hate each other. It's the frequency of the propellers and the motors, and the bees went nuts. I got stung 5 times. I came back a little while later without my drone and figured out that there's a monster hive. There was a monster hive in there. I don't know what's there today. If you're a beekeeper in town, if you're interested, and I do have a couple of phone numbers, I'm going to go out there this Sunday with Josh Dykes. We'll figure out whether there's lots for everybody, because I can't see going in and taking a couple of pieces for me, a couple of pieces for Josh, and leaving the rest there, because we really need to get him out of the building. The building is infested. So if you're interested and you're a beekeeper and you're experienced and you're skilled and you don't mind getting a sting or two, give me a call and I'll let you know what we find. I know we've got a couple in town. But if you're interested in getting involved in this, give me a call, and my phone number is plastered all over the town hall, the town website, but 954-801-1758. That's second to last thing. Last thing, people don't realize that we all wear multiple hats. I mean, we all have our passions outside of work and being on the council and all that. Leaves us a little bit of time to do other things. Well, all winter long, I guide birding tours in a number of places around the state. I'm a guide for the Audubon Society. I guide tours for Everglades Audubon, which is the Palm Beach Audubon Society. It's the biggest one in the United States. I also guide for Hendry Glades Audubon Society, and as well some of the other Audubon societies when they call me to either guide in their area or in our area. And our area is the 3 groups that I'm part of. Now, we have tons of birds here all winter long. And if you grew up here, you know the usual suspects: woodpeckers, blue jays, mockingbirds. You know, right now we've got the fish crows all over the place because they're eating the babies from the cardinals, the blue jays, the mockingbirds. But all winter long, we've got the wading birds and we have all the migrants come through. I've been talking with the Parks Committee about doing 4 tours a year in our town. Now, I've got some dates tentative December that we'll talk about because I have other commitments to the other Audubon societies and to some other groups as well. So stay tuned. I will put it in one of my upcoming articles. We'll probably do the first one in November, December timeframe when the birding season is really starting to heat up. That's the time of year lots are flying south, so it's a great time to get out there. You can't miss in January because anything that's staying here is here. But earlier in the year are when the hawks start migrating through, the falcons migrate through. So it's kind of a fun time just after, around Thanksgiving or thereabouts. And what I'd like to do then is every 3 months. So we'll do one in spring, we'll do one again next summer, and then in the fall. So stay tuned. If you're interested, I don't know what we'll limit it to. We've got to figure that out yet, but I'll put that in the note that I put out in the town newsletter as well. And, you know, everybody is invited. With the big groups that I take, it's usually no kids, but that's not my rule, that's theirs. So if you've got children that, you know, are not going to scream at the birds and throw rocks, they're welcome. But I plan to do 4 of them in the next year. And the people that come along with me into the Everglades, they come to see us just to see our birds. So it's interesting. If you're interested in birds, wildlife, or nature, that's what I talk about. So the last thing, I also wanted, I know you were here 3 months ago. I'm sorry, I don't recall your name. I know you spoke to the mayor about your concern. I don't think you'll get a lot of support. You've heard it from David. I won't speak on behalf of the rest of the council. We are an agricultural and an animal supportive community. It's the way we've always been. I had roosters. They're no longer with me anymore, but they were pretty loud. I did the same thing as David, not to get rid of the rooster noise problem, but for hurricanes. And when I put those up, it did 2 things. I don't hear my roosters anymore. You don't even hear the airplanes flying over. So it really does a lot to deaden the sound in your house. And, you know, I know they're not cheap.
And they changed the windows already.
Yeah, you did change the windows. Well, I'm not sure. I don't have any other recommendations for it. It worked for me. I don't hear roosters 30 feet. We don't do exchange now. I'm just trying to let you know how I feel about it. But I'm sorry that you're impacted by it, but it's a fact of life in town. So, you're welcome. That is all I have. Thank you for indulging me in the extra time, guys. Let's see, on to legal comments?
We have some legal comments tonight.
Excellent.
So, thank you, Vice Mayor. So, as the council is aware, maybe some residents are not aware, but there's been several articles about it, news articles, etc. Atlas Investments, which is the property owner of CLO Farms, sued the town of Southwest Ranches, Keith Polyakoff, Julio Medina, Andy Burns, and Russell Munez in federal court on several different counts. The case was originally filed in March of 2025, and on July 14th, the federal judge dismissed every single count against the town. Now, I have to say it was a joint effort between the town attorney's office as well as the insurance account counsel from Florida League of Cities, Jeff Hockman. Jeff Hockman, I can't sing his praises enough. He was masterful. He was precise. He was clinical, and he destroyed their case. It was completely dismissed. And it was probably one of the quickest dismissals I've ever seen for a federal court case, which just goes to tell you what the judge thought of the case. But I'm just not going to have you take my word for it. I'm going to read a little bit, some quotes from the judge, just so you can get a sense of what he felt of this case. Now, originally, on the first motion to dismiss, he allowed them to amend their complaint with this one caveat. He said, as I noted in my prior order, any forthcoming complaint faces long odds of success.
I read that.
That was one quote. The other said, as he previously explained, stripped of plaintiff, and again, the plaintiff is Atlas Investments, Cielo Farms, stripped of plaintiff's puffery, the specific conduct taken by defendants Polyakoff and Medina include requesting police to investigate plaintiff for violations of the town ordinance, levying fines against plaintiff for said violations, and informing third parties, including investors and the Broward County property appraiser, of the unlawful character of plaintiff's hosted events. These acts, even if taken for the improper purpose plaintiff asserts, do not rise to the level of conscious, shocking conduct necessary to state a claim. Then he goes on. From the moment plaintiff, and here he's talking about Atlas and Mr. Albisu, from the moment plaintiff first began developing his property, long before the political event that supposedly ignited the town's animus, plaintiff was informed that his planned property use was at odds with the town's ordinances. Though plaintiff may disagree with the substance of the town's laws and has made many allegations of animus that later arose between Mr. Rodriguez and the town's officials, the town has consistently maintained that it was acting to enforce property codes, which by plaintiff's own admission extended to properties beyond his own. And he said that, again, that conduct did not shock the conscious. Finally, the judge says, here I find that any further amendment, meaning to allow them a third chance, any further amendment would be futile. I previously granted plaintiff's request for leave to amend as it was plausible, if difficult, that plaintiff could cure the defects in the complaint to state a claim for substantive due process or equal protection. In view of the amended complaint and plaintiff's proffered additional facts, however, it is clear that any additional amendments would only supply more scattered and disjointed allegations, intimidating at improper purposes on the part of a town and its officials, of which the current amended complaint has no shortage. So finally, he said, in conclusion, plaintiff has failed to state a claim for violations of federal substantive due process or equal protection, and any further amendment is likely to be futile, and dismissed all the claims.
Congratulations.
So I'll leave it at that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I heard a legal term I'm not familiar with. Can you define it? Puffery?
I think I'll leave that to the residents and everybody else to make their own conclusions, but I'll leave, and that's our final legal comment for the night. Thank you.
Congratulations to you and the team.
I have a question. Since this was in federal court, can we seek attorney fees?
We can, let's talk about any legal comments and opinions and advice outside of the, outside of this.
Okay.
And we also need to, since we have insurance counsel, they need to be involved with any of those decisions.
All right.
Good. Through?
Through, thank you.
All right. Russell, administrative comments?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll try to make this brief. A couple things. Just wanted to mention, and I just wanted to correct a comment that was made earlier about the first budget hearing. It's actually going to be September 15th, not September 11th. The town council, we had initially created it for that date. However, the town council designated September 11th as a town holiday. So we're actually closed on that day. So the first budget hearing was rescheduled to September 15th. So just for the record. A couple of other things. The town, along with other governmental agencies across the state, received Florida DOJ requests for information pertaining to budget records. I'm happy to report that the town has complied with those requests, and that information has been sent to the governor's office. Item 10 on tonight's agenda for bunker gear for the Southwest Ranches Volunteer Fire Rescue Department needs to be clarified. The way it was written, it should have been submitted as a piggyback on the contract with the town of Davie. It doesn't include that information, but it is based on a piggyback contract with the town of Davie. So what I'm going to ask is that when we consider that item, that you approve it subject to revised language that allows us to indicate that it is a piggyback, so it complies with our procurement rules. And also, we're working on the contract cost with that. We believe it's actually going to be less than what you see there in front of you. So we believe it'll be less than $30,000. So that's something that benefits the town further. One other thing I just wanted to bring up was that, actually two other things. Any legislative bills that the town council would like to consider, we need to have those submitted to the Broward Legislative Delegation by October 17th. So that deadline is approaching. So anything that we want to consider to send to Tallahassee, we need to start discussing that and working with legal counsel to get something drafted and send it over to the Broward County Legislative Delegation.
I make a motion for toll lanes on Griffin Road.
And then just the last quick update, you updated us on the strategic plan survey, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to give a quick update on the residential composting program that was brought up by Debbie Green. We have over 60 participants in that pilot program. We were hoping to get, or we budgeted to have up to 100 people. At this point, we're over 60 people. Route A in the first pickup was picked up, or has picked up over 270 pounds of compostable waste. Wow. And Route B has picked up over 470 pounds of compostable waste. So it's working. I think we're starting to see results. I would encourage people to continue doing it. For those of you that are not aware, this pilot program is free to residents for this first year at least. So we encourage you to sign up for it. If you're interested in signing up for it, you can find the sign up application on our town website. If you go to the main page of the website, we have a tile for it and under the hot topics, correct? So under the hot topics, you can find the application for it and sign up for the program. So with that, I'll keep it short tonight.
All right, thank you, Russell. All righty, we have several resolutions to cover this evening. Deborah, would you read them into the record, please?
Certainly, Vice Mayor. Item 9 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a 3-year extension to the agreement with Florida Technical Consultants, LLC, for continuing GIS consulting services under the original terms and conditions as approved by the Town Council on December 13, 2018, pursuant to Resolution 2019-016, authorizing the mayor, town administrator, and town attorney to issue a purchase order and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All righty. Any council comment on this?
It's been working great.
Yep. Russell, do you have any context for this, or?
Yeah, just if you have any questions, basically this is an extension of the current contract that we have with the company, FTC, Florida Technical Consultants. They've done an amazing job for us with our GIS systems that you can find on our website. This just allows us to continue to use them. We did basically freeze the hourly rates, if you will, but we did increase a little bit the budgeted amount per year during the next 3 years. So this way it allows us a little bit more leeway to take on more projects with them because they've done such an outstanding job.
Good. Good. Any questions for Russell on it?
Yeah, I just want to mention, most people don't know this, but if you go to the town website and you click on the right-hand side under engineering, I believe it'll drop down list. You'll see all the GIS layers that covers the town. It's quite extensive.
Your
It's-
maps.
Yeah, on the map, and it's it's very extensive. It tells you, it gives you a lot of information about the town concerning permits and things of that nature, and agricultural stuff. So I just want to make mention of that.
Excellent. Yeah, we've been building our GIS maps for about 10 years now, Russell, would you say? 8 years?
Not quite, probably closer to 8 years.
8 years, yeah. And, they're beneficial for residents who want to do research, but it also helps some of the businesses that work within town because it provides them the information that they need to effectively do business here. All righty. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none. Deborah, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. If you would, read 10 into the record, please.
Item 10 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving the purchase of 13 units of bunker gear equipment for the Southwest Ranches Volunteer Fire Department from Fire Tech One Incorporated in the amount of $30,220.06 and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve with the caveat that this is a piggyback onto Davies' purchase and that the amount is amended to a maximum of $30,220.06.
Second. That's fine. Hey, Jim, you snuck in. Glad to see you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any council discussion on this? Any questions for the chief? Russell, you want to make any comments?
No, you covered in the motion what we were looking to do, so thank you.
Good. No council comments? Any public comment? All righty. Deborah, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, let's move on to 11.
Item 11 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, consenting to the City of Sunrise providing water services to 14501 Luray Road, real property line within the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing that no further expansion or service shall be permitted without the explicit written consent of the town, providing for a certified copy of this resolution to be furnished to the City of Sunrise and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Russell, any comments on this?
This is just the standard agreement with the City of Sunrise to provide water services to that location.
I do have a question about this. I know that, I guess I'd say to the east, potentially of this particular location, Cooper City, they've run pipes and they service that part of town. I'm assuming that Sunrise is the only one in this particular area providing water service to the residents? Or are
Sunrise
there
has.
two different pipes there?
It might be just the closest and maybe the most cost affordable, if you will,
Sure.
for that particular resident.
Okay.
So we haven't delineated exact service areas yet, which is a broader discussion that the town council, we need to have at some point.
Right. I guess my only sensitivity to this is we have had discussions about we don't want three pipes potentially running down a street because of, the clear issues with that. I just want to make sure that we're not creating that situation. Good, thank you. Any council comments, David?
Yeah, something that came to me not too long ago, because I see a lot of these. We see a lot of these, and a lot of them in Sunshine Ranches. And if it's an old road like Luray, I don't care. Doesn't matter. They can dig up the road. But I'm thinking, and I don't know how, I'm just throwing this out there as an idea. We'll say on a road that's been recently resurfaced, if providing pipe is going to result in damage to the street that our taxpayers have paid for, that I'm thinking that the resident that is requesting this, that lives on a new road, would have to not just resurface the little 2-foot section, but across the street. So it's more parallel, because we just spent money on this. I mean, Luray, or Holliday hasn't even been done 9 years, that's it.
Right.
And if somebody were to run a line on Holliday, I'd be pretty angry because, it's a beautiful road right now. So it's just an idea that I threw out there, something to think about.
So if we wanted to enact something like that, Russell, what would you recommend?
Well, certainly we would need to develop an ordinance to do that as part of our, right-of-way permit process to make sure that we provide for some kind of restoration, if you will. There might be some legal challenges with that or legal complexities that we would need to look into. So certainly would work with Keith and with Richard on that to see if there's any prohibition about doing something like that. But I think it's actually a very good idea, me personally. So I'd like to look into that as well if there's council direction to do so.
What do you guys think? Should we ask Russell to follow up on this?
Who fixes it now? How's it fixed now?
So
what we're really talking about is if there's roadway that's been recently restored, and I guess there's all kinds of, we'd have to look at, what's the threshold, what kicks this provision
we need to
in.
develop some policy.
Right, so we'd have to develop that. But right now, what happens is the contractor or the property owner who's paying to have that line put in, they're essentially paying for that restoration for that section where the sewer pipe is, or the water pipe is being put into. So they're paying for that as it is through the service that they're being provided by the utility, so.
So what would they be required to do? Make it a bigger patch? How would they make it?
Those are policy
Right.
decisions that we would have
Right,
to develop, right?
okay.
Either to the middle of the street or the full street, just because, I mean, if you go down Lou Ray now, you've been on Lou Ray, you'll see there's one little stretch of it on the north side of Lou Ray that is newer than the whole part of Lou Ray. So I'm looking at some of the roads that we've already had resurfaced. The road in front of Lori's house. Now the town didn't put that in there. That was Mr. Williams who put that in there, or the guy that was running the Williams Paving Company. That was running it then. If you go down there now, there's like a 2-foot strip that's been dug up right in the middle, right along the edge of the street. And when they go to resurface that, it's not going to be level. The street won't be level. And it's going to have like an indentation as the road wears in that area where they have cut through the street for the new pipe.
Well, I always thought that they had to maintain it back the way it was.
That's my goal.
Right, I mean, and that's not required now? I mean, I'm surprised that it's not required now.
I think there's a lot of factors at play.
Yeah,
Because,
there is.
I've driven around all over Florida, and you're driving down this brand-new road, and it's got a washboard in it because somebody put a pipe across it.
Yeah.
Within months or even a couple of years, and now that nice smooth road is it's a washboard. I get it. I like the idea. I just don't know how far to go.
Right.
Because do we require them to pave to the middle of the road for whatever the area is? I think we need some guidance from engineering and from Russell. So if you guys are agreeable, maybe we ask you to put together an ordinance package that we would include with any of the requests to run water to the properties. And I'd like to understand, if we're going to take I don't know if we're going to want to ask them to pave from side to side, wider than the 2-foot trench that they just dug. But I'd like to know the cost, because paving, as we all know, from the Tisdor project going on for a long time now, it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Vice Mayor, if you would allow me to I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let me look into this issue a little
Right,
bit and bring
right.
back some recommendations. We can, there could be some legal complexities too that we need to be aware of. So give me some time to research that and bring some options back to you.
all right, next meeting? Kidding. I'd just like to see you turn
I
around.
was thinking about it in the next hour.
All right.
All right, public.
Thank you, Russell. Public comment on this? On the resolution for the water to the house? Seeing none? Up, Newell?
No, Hollingsworth, 199th Avenue. I think it's imperative at this point, because we're hitting now where we're going to set where Sunrise is and where Cooper City is, and we had a little discussion on that just tonight. We need to set that line, at least in Sunshine Ranches, where that is the most impetus is, that line immediately. So I think the town needs to say with engineering, this is what the line is, and get that with Cooper City and Sunrise or whoever, that line, at least that first line.
Yeah.
The others we can stretch out for a while, but this one needs to get done right now, because we sort of bumped into it tonight. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Russell, to Newell's point, I think this was a topic at the last comp plan board meeting as well. We briefly discussed, and I believe you had already thought about an engineering study to start looking at how we should lay out the town in terms of, the utilities providing us water. So maybe, I think Newell's got a good point.
Yeah, in January of 2000, I believe it was January of 2024, I had preliminary discussions with the city of Sunrise, and then we had subsequent discussions with the city of Sunrise. I had them all here. I had Pembroke Pines, Cooper City, and Sunrise in our conference room, and we kind of approached the subject. So we have had initial discussions. It is something that we need to look at. Again, there needs to be policy from council There's a lot of things to think about if you're talking about carving up the town from a service area standpoint. I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but just for instance, if you designate one area of the town to just be serviced by one utility provider, you're essentially eliminating competition. And you may be eliminating someone from getting the best possible rates because they might be able to shop it from two different utility providers. It's one consideration. So just something to think about, but those are discussions that we need to have, and we need to look into this a little bit further, so.
Okay. All right. So just in terms of some next steps, so we don't drop this, what would you suggest in terms of moving the ball a little bit further down the field?
Yeah, like I said, allow me some time. It's good. This is not a simple issue. Allow me some time to come back to you with some recommendations. I meet with you guys, as you know, so give me some time. It's going to take me some time. There's a lot of issues to digest here and to look into. I should have at least some preliminary reporting to do, maybe not at the next meeting, but at the meeting after that.
I was going to suggest, I was going to ask Gary if he thought 2 meetings was a fair amount of time. Russell, whatever it takes. All right. Mary Ann, this isn't public comment. Is it earth-shattering? Is the entire community going to glean benefit from it? All right.
Because we're discussing carving up the town with public water supply. It's something we've fought for a long time, so I can speak a little bit authoritatively on it. 25 years ago, Sunrise Water wanted to put water all through some Southwest ranches. There wasn't any question, and luckily Southwest ranches fought it and said, no, we have our own wells, we control our own wells, as long as we check our water and make sure it's safe. When you're on an agricultural piece of property, do you know a horse can drink 20 gallons in a day? Now you're talking about city water with the meter running the whole time, and animals aren't supposed to drink chlorine or chlorinated or fluoridated water. And what you're not aware of is a lot of the city water is contaminated with microplastics, which there's been several lawsuits that have come through lately about that. We have more control and autonomy by having our own private wells. I put a $10,000 deep well in, and my water is purer than anything. Okay, I know it is. Even the spring water from Zephyr Hills, they have a lawsuit against the airport there because they're contaminated. So the water you're buying, the water you're getting from the city water, and let's not even take apart, there has been threats of terrorism against water supplies.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's very true. So Southwest Ranches, we have the ability to have our own water, which is going to be very pertinent in the future. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary Ann. Yeah, I wouldn't give my well up. We love our water. We have a deep well also. All righty. I guess enough said on this topic. We need to take a vote. Deborah, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All righty, thank you. Moving on to number 12.
Item 12 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, approving a budget amendment to the fiscal year 2024-2025 adopted budget for roadway repairs and traffic sign maintenance and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, Russell?
This is just the formality, essentially. At the June 26th meeting, I mentioned to you under my comments that the town needed additional monies to handle the additional expenses related to our new process as it relates to pothole restoration and also sign maintenance. The town council took an action that evening to approve us to be able to make this budget amendment. So you essentially already approved this, but what I promised you at that meeting was that I would bring you back a formalized resolution. That's what's before you today.
Perfect. Thank
Russell,
you.
this will speed up our TIS door projects and stuff, along with the money that we receive, the new money we receive from the county, correct?
No, this is simply for the pothole restoration and the the sign maintenance line items that we have with the one provider that does that. This has nothing to do with the TISDOR project.
So the potholes will get fixed quicker?
Yeah, well, we've already
Thank you.
incorporated that process. Yes, that's correct.
Thank
This
you.
is
Pay
just
for 'em,
this
right?
is just to pay for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Any council comments otherwise? Any public comments? All righty. Deborah, would you take the vote?
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, let's move on to 13, and there's nothing to read in. Amelia, you going to take this, or Russell?
We'll do it, but we need to have Deborah read it into the record. I'm sorry, the summary agendas didn't have the full text,
Got
but they are in the full backup.
That's what
So
I'm
Deborah
going
has that information. She'll read the resolution, and then Emil will make a presentation.
Thank you.
Can we do as we did last year, that we have them all together? Okay.
If
You want me to read all three?
Hang on. If the council will indulge, we'd like to read all three resolutions, then have you vote separately
with
on the millage, the fire assessment, and the solid waste assessment.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Motion, yes.
Okay, so.
So Deborah, if you would read, no, if Deborah, right, correct,
yes.
correct. If Deborah would just read those three items, and then Emil can make the presentation. Thank you.
Item 13 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, setting the proposed millage rate and current rollback rate pursuant to Section 200.065 Florida statutes, and establishing the date, time, and place at which public hearings will be held to consider the proposed millage rate and the tentative budget for fiscal year 2026, directing the town clerk to file said resolution with the property appraiser of Broward County pursuant to the requirements of Florida statutes and the rules and regulations of the Department of Revenue for the state of Florida, directing that a certified copy of this resolution be sent to the Broward County property appraiser and tax collector, and providing for an effective date. Item 14 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing findings, amending in part Section 3 of Resolution 2011-084 by providing a new definition incorporating the 2025 Fire Assessment Report, approving preliminary not-to-exceed fire protection assessment rates relating to the provision of fire protection services, facilities, and programs in the town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, for fiscal year 2025-26, providing for the imposition and computation of fire protection assessments, providing for an exemption for veterans with service-connected total and permanent disabilities, providing for legislative determinations of the special benefit and fair apportionment, establishing the preliminary rate of assessment, directing the preparation of a preliminary assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing, and directing the provision of mailed and published notice thereof, and providing for an effective date. Item 15 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, relating to the provision of solid waste services, facilities, and programs to residential properties in the Town of Southwest Ranches, Florida, providing authority for solid waste service assessments, providing for purpose and definitions, providing findings, incorporating the solid waste special assessment methodology report, directing the preparation of an assessment roll, providing for a 50% exemption for veterans service-connected total and permanent disability, authorizing a public hearing and directing the provision of notice thereof, and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved.
So we have a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, so Emil's going to provide a presentation. Dan, if we can get that up on the screen, perfect, thank you. Emil, do you want to introduce the presentation first?
Yes. Good evening, Vice Mayor, Council. We're here, as we do every year, to present the preliminary budget of fiscal year 25-26. And today, we are presenting three resolutions, a not-to-exceed amount, which is important. This is what Council is adopting now. With that, we're about to start the presentation for it. This is a summary of what we're about to do. These are the three items that were read to by the clerk's office. We are proposing the same millage as last year, an initial fire assessment rate change increase and a decrease, which we're going to elaborate as we go into the next slides. And finally, and last, the initial solid waste assessment rate change increase as well. This is the calendar of events, as Russell mentioned. The first one is where we are tonight, and it's important to highlight the fact that the first public hearing is going to be on Monday, September 15, and which at that time will be the final fire protection and solid waste special assessment adoption. That is essentially given the fact that the fire assessment and the solid waste are advertised and presented to the residents through the Broward County when they send their E-train notification. Next slide. So this is a summary of the following slides. This is showing what we adopted in 24-25. Again, the first item is showing that there's no millage change. We are proposing the same. Fire assessment and solid waste for 24-25, there were no change, increase on neither one of those two assessment, and that was essentially given the fact that council adopted the utilization of subsidy from unassigned fund balance to keep that rate the same. There was a minor decrease in acreage per acre in 24-25. For 25-26, no subsidy is contemplated. So this is actually reflecting the true cost year over year into 2025-2026. For fire assessment, there is an increase of $65.16 per residential dwelling unit. That's about 8.6%. For a combined non-residential, an increase of 0.1989 per square footage. And there is a small reduction in the acreage for agricultural classification exception of 76 cents. For solid waste, we have broken down into two pieces. The first one is proposing an increase of $47.15 in the residential collection rate, and $101.12 for the average increase per parcel lot size on bulk waste. This, when we are referencing averages, because we put all the different lots based on the square footage, which is what was contemplated a few years ago as to how we rate the bulk waste. This is just an image that we actually bring up on every year. It's just to highlight how we calculate the tax levy presented to the residents. And this one represents where we are now and what we are proposing. We have kept the same millage rate for the last 3 years, and we are proposing to continue with that same millage rate. And this is important to mention. How are we able to get to sustain the same millage rate? Well, first, we are economists are projecting the same GDP, the gross domestic product growth, into 2026 at 2.1%. The unemployment rate is expected to come down. That is essentially a reflex of the Fed's also contemplating 2 basis point reduction, 25 point basis reduction from the rate for the remaining 5 months into the year. And there's also projected to have 2 rate cuts in 2026. Of course, we continue to monitor the situation coming from the state and also from government in general. And those are the 3 main aspects that we continue to look and be looking out, keeping our eyes open. The first one is the tariff. As we know, it has created a lot of commotion in pricing. It may temporarily push inflation higher, which it did essentially when this started, supposed to subside. But we are projecting or estimating based on economists' forecasts that it will continue early into 2026. The second one is the fiscal agenda by the state. As we all know, the governor actually started an EOG DOGE team, which we have received letters and corresponding requests and information, which they are contemplating recommending some legislative reforms associated to it. We continue to provide that information as being requested. And the third portion of it is the reshaping, the possibility of the reshaping of the role and the size of the federal government. So we continue to look into those as to how they might impact the town in order for us to do our projections into 25, 26. And also, a big reason for us to sustain the same level of services is that we receive from BCPA, that's a property appraiser, Broward County property appraiser, valuation of the towns of Southwest Ranches, assessed valuation. It came in to be 13.25%. Last year's was 12.55. We're going to present a few slides now that are going to highlight the program modifications, what we call internally PMs. That's the increased level of services that the town is including in this year's budget. And subsequent to that, we're going to go over the CAP, which are the capital improvement projects for the town. Here, we are funding 12, and I'm going to go in detail into each one of them. But we have listed next to each of those PMs the millage impact that is included in this in the 3.9 millage. And we also have 10 capital improvement projects funded this year. As you see on the first one, it comes directly from the general fund, and the next 5 are from from within the capital projects fund, which is funded through the general fund, though. But we keep that separate. Those are projects that are contemplated 1 year, one-off, not ongoing. And next to it, we also include those that are millage impact. And if you please go back to the one before. If you can see, some of them actually has a portion and some of them has no millage impact. It's important to mention that there was millage impact associated to this project. However, for fiscal year 25-26, there's none because this is a carryover project from the year before. And those that you see on the next one, those that you see, like the last one, the T-Store non-surtax for 1.5, it's only having a 752,000 millage impact because we had this broken into 2 years, and the previous year was funded last year. So this now we have the full amount for completion. This is a summary again on the millage rate impact. Again, we are recommending to maintain the same rate. This is an exercise that we do on a yearly basis of how much that to simplify the impact to the residents so they can calculate that themselves. Very straightforward. Is that on every 500,000 of taxable value, it represents a combined $185 increase from the current year rollback rate, which is the 3.5299. And again, it's important to mention also that this increase is exempted up to 3% for those eligible for Safe Harbor homes. This table is it's just a summary, and it brings highlight the different millage, maximum millage rate that the town can actually assess. The one highlighted in yellow is the one that we're proposing for 25-26, which again is 3.90. To the right, if you continue looking to that right, to the right, you will see what the net revenues will result from this millage rate, and was the year-over-year increase from the previous one, even though we kept the same rate. And it also highlights the 185 that I just mentioned on the previous slide, and the bottom part of it reinforced the fact that there's no, for those eligible for the Safe Harbor home exception, the value would not exceed 3%. As we discussed earlier, we're going to go through the three pieces of the presentation, and then we'll address any questions after the fact. With that, the next one is the initial fire assessment. The first two slides is pretty much just information as to what gives the town the rights to do the assessment. And this one is a continuation of that. But in this, it's important to mention that there has been 24 homesteaded properties which have been identified as qualifying for that 100% tax exception, being a permanent service connected to several U.S. vet. And for that, that's not part of any assessment. That's something that the town is absorbing within the general fund. And that comes to be $19,771. The second one, which was mentioned here tonight, is the agricultural classification land. For those per Florida statutes that are eligible for that classification, they do get exempted, and for that, the town is also absorbing that cost in the amount of $94,105. And that's the equivalent of 1,097 acres. This represents where we are now, what we're proposing, and the year-over-year increase, as you see, from 25 to 26. There's no increase from 24 and 25, as I mentioned earlier, because of the subsidy that the council provided. And that subsidy not only kept the rates the same for the residential, but it allowed the agricultural exemption land to decrease by roughly $2.62 from 24 into 25. This year, without the exception now, this is the true cost. If we were not to have any exception from the year before, this is what the year-over-year change would represent. So now the residential rate will be $823.79, and the ag will be $85.73. As is highlighted in the methodology report, the core data on the cost for fire assessment is utilized to determine the percentage allocation of the cost. This is what is presented here. If you go through that methodology report, which is also attached in this resolution, you will find a more detailed information as to not only this portion of the report, but how we get to those rates. And here we are pretty much detailing, so to speak, what I highlighted when we were looking at that graph, is that the residential shows an increase of $65.16 per dwelling unit. This is again due to the town of Bayview public safety escalation rate increase contemplated in the contract. But again, it's important to mention the fact that the 65.16 comes to be given the fact that last year this rate, this assessment was subsidized in the amount of $252,433. And the anchorages represent an increase of 70 cents. The combined non-residential, I included the language from the item before as of the subsidy, just to mention the fact that it was also included. It's not that the 252,000 was for each. It's just informational, just as a reference that that same amount was used for the three items that we're presenting. And with that, we're going to the next and final phase, which is the initial solid waste assessment. Again, this is just what it allows the town to do, to assess this to the residents and what the funds are utilized. The first two items are that. The third one is pretty much showing what the estimated cost is expected to be for fiscal year 25-26, which is $3.6 million. These reflect the annual rate adjustment increase of $432,000. I'm rounding the numbers up just to make this more simple. And that is when we compare the 3.6 million to the last year adopted amount, which is 3.2. However, we need to normalize in order for us to determine what the true increase based on the solid waste contract, which calls for a CPI increase. We need to normalize what last year would have been. When we do that, last year of 3.2 million, which was a result of the subsidy approved by council, would have been 3.49 million. If we normalize last year into this year proposed 24-25 number, the increase year over year would have been only 169,000, or the 5%, which is called included of the solid waste contract. The second portion is that what we did is that we provided an average of the overall parcel lot size from the walkways. Again, as I mentioned before, that every lot has a different rate depending on their size, and that average represent an increase year over year of $101.12. And for the yes. And for the residential solid waste, it's just that I'm missing a piece of information on the screen. The residential increase for the solid waste year over year, it's $47.15. We're including both rates there so we can make the distinction year over year as to what the last year rate was. Again, it's important to mention that the true rate from last year was calculated off of the 3.2 million, not the 3.4 that would have been, which is why the increase is so significant year over year now. Something that we mentioned as a whole, now we're going into detail. Again, we highlighted this fact into the fire assessment as they are exempted for it. The 24 homesteaded residents, which are permanent service connected to several U.S. vets, do get a 50% reduction on their solid waste rate. And for that exception is absorbed within the general fund, and that cost represents $7,221. And now tonight, this assessment actually is distributed by the BCPA, which I mentioned before. This is included in the E-Train notification that the residents will be getting in August. And right after this is completed and adopted and approved by council, we need to comply with Broward County in order for them to be able to meet the deadlines in sending this information to the residents. Now this is a snapshot of the rates. I mentioned on a few occasions the average lot size on the bulkways. What I was referring to basically is that column where you see numbers of units in range. The average lot size next to it, that's how we account for that $101 increase that I mentioned on the previous slides. And the one to your left is essentially what we are proposing in this, in the 25-26 budget, the 601.72 per residential unit. And now we're here to just pretty much address any question, and it is our recommendation again that we get this approved in order tonight in order for us to be able to meet the Broward County and the residents' E3 notification deadlines. That concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Emil. Great job. I just want to make a point to everybody. What you're looking at here is the first step of our annual budget process. This is going to go on for 3 months roughly. And it's important to point out the numbers you just saw are the worst case. Every year the council works with those numbers to try to figure out where we can incur savings. In the past, we've subsidized to try to reduce the impact on, our residents' bottom lines. We'll continue to do that this year. So we have to have a going in on this by law, I believe. And that's what that's the purpose of the numbers that Emil just showed us, and we'll vote on those as our initial budget. But we'll be spending 4 meetings roughly on refining those numbers.
Should be 3 more. We have
Three
a
more?
workshop and then two
So
budget hearings.
total of 4. We'll go through, the workshop is really where the sausage is made. I used to come to those long before I was on the council because those were places as a resident I could make a difference in terms of trying to make sure that our taxes were adequately vetted. I'll just leave it that way. So I just wanted to point that out. This is the worst case you're seeing tonight. We'll do our best to reduce those to the best we can. Can't promise anything on the millage. We've been holding that flat every year, and that's really the work of our finance department and the entire administration. We approve the budget; they stay within it. We then, they'll build a new budget. Fortunately, because of the growth in our town, we've, 13% this year increase roughly in our overall budget. That's because of all these new houses that are still going up, but that's going to come to an end. The good thing is about that money, you saw some of the program adjustments that Emil showed. Those are things we couldn't afford a few years ago. Even something as simple as a machine to grade the Equestrian Park's riding ring. I mean, we had no technology to do that. So finally, after 25 years, and that park's better than 20 years old, we finally can afford the technology. So as that money goes up, we're not using it to go out and hire a whole bunch of people and create new jobs and kingdoms for Russell, where we really judiciously spend it for the things that will improve the town, improve our lifestyle, and make things a little better. So hopefully that clarifies why we're here tonight and what this is all about. Russell, you got a big smile. Did I mess something up?
I laughed at the term kingdoms. I can just,
Well, that was something we assigned to Andy, so you got the job, you got the chair. All right, so where do we go from here?
We need council to take action on those rates as proposed and read through on the resolutions. So if you have a motion and a second to approve them, I would imagine you might want to consider more council member comment first.
Sure. We have our motion and second, so we'll open it up to the council.
Yeah, I have a few things to mention on it. Want everybody to really have to emphasize, these are not to exceed numbers.
Right.
This is not the final number by any stretch of the imagination. And I want to put forth, you mentioned it, alluded to it earlier, where we reduce our reserves. Our reserves right now at 32%. We made the commitment to drop them over time to 25%, providing we have no calamity or urgent need for them. And I'm going to suggest in the future meetings that we do what we did the last year, where we allocated $500,000 to the fire and the solid waste, to put a dent in it, soften the blow. It won't pay for it all, but it'll pay for some of it. So that'll be coming up in the meetings as we get closer and closer to the budget time. But that's really pretty much it for me.
Just a quick comment on Gary's as well. A lot of the things the town has to pay for are contractual. We have a contract with Davie for public safety. The fire department, part of those funds come from the fire fee, but the police, that's out of our general fund essentially, and I'm probably using the wrong term, but that comes out of our regular budget. That goes up every year. We try to cover that the best we can. The same, because it's a contract. I think Davie's got an escalator of 3% per year. We also have a contract with WM, Waste Management. That goes up on an annual basis. As he mentioned, that goes up based on the CPI. Also, it goes up on our tipping fees as well. but there isn't a lot of control there. We can't sharpen our pencils on that because those are contracts. Now, next contract, maybe we can negotiate a better deal, but that contract is probably not up for another 2-3 years, right? So.
It was an eight-year contract, so we have several years left.
Several years. So the point is, where we as the council have impact is on the ad valorem, the 3.9. That's the team's management, that's our management, that's our fiduciary responsibilities over it to make sure that we don't exceed budgets. So we have some room, as Gary mentioned. We have reserves. Reserves in the government world mean cash in the bank that's not committed. So we will, as we've done in years past, and Gary was pointing out, we'll probably use some of that, and he recommended maybe $500,000 to ease the pressure on those contractual rates that go up. Correct. Good. Guys?
I'm in agreement with what Gary wants.
Yeah. Good. So you just got to persuade the mayor.
I think the mayor is
I think he'll be right there with us. Yeah, it's something we've been doing for a few years now.
Yeah.
Any other council comment? Public comment? Please, come on up. Come on up to the microphone. Say your name, your address, and then say what you'd like.
21, 164 Terrace. If you're paying $7,000 a year in taxes, what will the increase with what you said tonight, increase over last taxes we paid? What would the increase be if you're paying $7,000 a year?
7,000 of what?
On our property taxes. What will the increase be with these changes next time we pay our taxes?
The increase on your property is basically multiplying that 3.9 for the value of your home. I would need to know the value of the home in order for us to determine what is. I
pay $7,000 a year, okay? That incorporates the value of the home and the property, right?
Okay, yes.
If I'm paying $7,000, what will the increase be with these proposals you're having now?
Mr. Lawson, can we get with you in a few minutes? There's a couple of components that, when you have your property tax bill, it's not all the town's millage rate
I
that's addressed.
understand
So
that.
there's different taxing districts that are composed of that total that you're
But
paying.
we see a lot of numbers up there.
Right.
I'm just asking a general question.
Understood. I
That
want to give you,
$7 grand,
I want
how
to give you
much
the
will the
information.
increase be? Anticipate the increase next year.
Yeah, I want to give you that information, but I don't want to put my finance director on the spot right now to come up with a calculation. So if you could just give us a few minutes, he'll meet with you after the meeting.
Okay,
and
I'm
we'll
not
go over
aware
that
of the
with you.
procedure. I'm sorry. I
Yes,
apologize.
that's fine. It's just I want to give him the opportunity to give you a better estimate, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just to mention, if your property tax total was $7,000, 23% of that is to the town. The rest is Broward County.
Yeah, you
23
asked a
point-
very
23 and
complicated
change.
a question that definitely, you do the time, so it's not something we can just throw out a number. But I know Emil can help you, he's an expert.
Okay.
Good. Any other public comment? All right, fantastic. I guess we're done. Deborah, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Albritton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
That's for item 13. Are we going to call each individual one or carry them for all three?
No, I think we need to call
Motion for all.
Yeah,
Russell.
motion's for all.
Don't we have to vote on each individual one?
Motion for.
Yeah, we have to do each individual. Yes.
Okay.
That was item 13. Item 14, Councilmember Jablonski.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaczynski.
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Item number 15, Councilmember Kaczynski.
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton.
Yes.
Councilmember Jablonski.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Last item.
Let's see. All right, so the last item on the agenda this evening is the Southwest Ranches, AKA also Broward County, Pioneer of the Year Award 2025 nominations. Russell, would you mind explaining this? because I don't know all the details.
Sure. The Broward Historic Preservation Board has basically come up with this idea of recognizing a pioneer of the year for every municipality in Broward County. And so what they do is they want to be able to recognize these people who've contributed to the history of Broward County. They reach out to every city and ask for appointments by a certain time, and then in November, they have a ceremony. We have one of our distinguished residents in the second row has received this award in the past, Newell Hollingsworth. Mary Gay Chapels has also received this award in the past. It's just a way to recognize people who've contributed to the history of the county.
Perfect. Thank you, Russell.
That are not on the council.
Sorry?
That are not on the council.
You know, I grappled with that, Gary. But it's probably a smart
I
thing
think
to
it's
not.
lots more deserving.
Oh, well, there's plenty of deserving people on the council, but I think while we're serving, it's probably not the best idea to nominate.
I agree.
So anyway, do we have nominations? Does anybody have?
I'd
any
like to
names?
nominate Chris Brownlow.
Chris Brownlow?
Just some background. Chris, he was first appointed to first got on the Ed Board 2010, and in 2012, she was on the Parks Board.
Are you looking for other nominees?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to mention, I'd like to make Debbie Green a nominee. Not taking anything away from Chris.
Yep. Jim?
I have no nominees. Thank you.
No nominees.
No, sir.
This is why we need a board. It's tough when it's two friends. So I know both. I know their backgrounds, and I would support nominating Debbie as well. You are too humble, madam.
Vice Mayor?
So I stay away from her.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor,
Something.
if I may, I believe that the way that they wanted to receive the nominations were that the mayor for each city would actually make the designation, and our mayor had indicated what he wanted to have done tonight was to hear who the nominees were, and then he would consider and then make that
Oh,
recommendation.
he'll choose.
Yeah, he'll choose.
Boy, that takes us off the hook.
I'm happy with that.
Easy.
In which case, I nominate No, Russell can't. I'm
No.
sorry.
No.
Okay, so I guess you have two names.
Two names, I'll
pass
provide them
along
to the mayor, and then he can make a decision
Yeah,
from there.
yeah, good. Yeah. All righty then. I think that covers everything on the agenda except?
Wait a minute. One last thing.
Oh, comment?
One last thing, yes. I want to say thank you to Richard and to Keith for the magazine. I read through the magazine that we receive here at Town Hall about the government and so forth. And it says here, congratulations to GLG for co-founding partner, Mr. Keith Polyakoff, for his recognition as a Florida Trend Legal Elite Noble Managing Partner.
Holy
That's
cow,
a hell
that's
of
a
a
mouthful,
title.
yeah.
Thank you.
I echo
Congratulations. That's really good, yeah. And thank you for that hard work for the case. Thank you.
Now can we adjourn?
Yes. Yes. All righty. Thank you, folks, for coming out this evening. Appreciate your time.
Good night.